Hello and welcome back to the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, Tom Rawlings. Tom, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm 21 years old and I'm from the Midlands and I'm now racing in British GT with Paddock Motorsport in the GT4 Championship.
So how did you start off or get into racing?
I got into racing by going to a go-kart track, an indoor go-kart track, and it just stemmed from there really. Then we went outdoor go-karting, got a proper race prepared go-kart and worked on that really. Got a few championships under our belt, moved up the ranks, and now we're here.
How does the BMW of last season differ to the McLaren of this season?
They're a totally different car because the front engine car is going to be, the weight transfer is totally different, where with the McLaren it's a rear engine car, so the stability is a little bit different, so we have to work on sort of like different damper settings, different spring settings, all the rest of it, but it feels like a lot more planted than last year because obviously the new technology that involves in this car.
This is a really random question, but it always gets a good response. What is your workout program like?
Pretty chilled out. I don't really do that much working out because my job in the week is quite physical anyway, so I tend to just do bits when I can, and that's it really.
What advice would you give to racers just starting their careers?
Make sure you pick your right path and pick it early so you know where you're going and the procedures to take to succeed in where you want to be, end up.
What's the best motorsports related movie?
Cars.
Good choice. Who has been the biggest supporter in your career?
Definitely my dad. 100%. He has been there every weekend, even when he couldn't be there. He was watching on TSL. So yeah, dad.
These are some like short form, like quick fire, we'll call them, questions. Day race or night race?
Probably a day race because then you can just chill out on the night and it not interfere with your sleep.
Clockwise circuit or anti-clockwise circuit?
Clockwise.
Petrol or electric?
Petrol.
Automatic or manual?
Manual.
Who's the most famous person in your contacts?
Probably Lewis Hamilton's dad.
Senna or Schumacher?
Senna.
Wet track or dry track?
Wet. Purely because it really brings out the drivers from the drivers. So.
Cold and dry or warm and damp?
Cold and dry.
Porsche or Porsche?
Porsche.
Would you rather win loads of titles and very few races, or win loads of races and no titles?
Loads of races and no titles.
Indy 500 or Monaco Grand Prix?
Indy 500.
Okay, it's a general knowledge quiz. Which is the longest British circuit?
I want to say Silverstone. Yeah.
Correct. At the 2008 Turkish Grand Prix, which record did Rubens Barrichello break, which has since been broken by both Kimi Räikkönen and Fernando Alonso?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Most race starts. Who is the oldest driver to finish a Formula race?
Is it Fernando Alonso?
Louis Chiron, aged 55. How many titles did Fangio win?
4.
5, half a point. In 51, 54, 55, 56 and 57. What makes up the Triple Crown of motorsport? 2 of them were on a previous question, and one of them's like really long.
Wouldn't have a clue.
The Monaco Grand Prix, the Indy 500 and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I'm going to skip that one because if you didn't know the first one, you probably won't know that one. How many father-son duos have won an F1 title?
9.
2. Do you know who they were?
Nope.
The Hills and the Rosbergs. Which team did Farina win the 1950 title with? And they're still in F1 today. And they're not Scarlet Red. They're the sister team.
From a...
Correct. How many drivers are on the British GT grid this year?
37?
I don't know.
70... No, there was 72 or 1 this morning.
Okay, we'll just pretend that's right. Correct, because I don't know.
I think that's how many were in the picture anyway this morning. They did say, but...
Can you name this track?
Oulton Park.
Correct, Amondo. Okay. 4.5. That's all right. Do you have any questions?
You're saying a wet track brings out a totally different driver.
Yeah.
Can you quantify that?
Well, it's kind of not easy to drive on a dry track, but the wet track is like where you've got to really think about where you position the car, and you're not using the same lines as you do in the wet and the dry. So that really differs between the good drivers and the just the normal everyday drivers.
On your treaded tyres, as opposed to your slicks, I understand obviously slick and treaded.
Yeah.
Do the treaded make that much difference in the wet?
Yeah.
Is water dispersal a massive part of
Yeah, 100%.
What's your visibility normally on a wet track?
Just depends. If you're in a train of people, nigh on 0, absolutely can't even see the bonnet because of the spray.
Do you alter just the tyres or the brake-ins and the downforces?
No, you change the suspension, the map setting and how the power gets fed to the car. Like obviously you don't want it just so it's like a switch where it's bang power, back wheel spinning up, and then you want it fairly soft-ish, like so it can bite, so it gets the grip on the tyres working. Yeah, that's it really.
You said about the difference between a rear engine rear wheel drive and front engine rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
I understand the balance of power.
Yeah.
Is it because with all your weight is over your drive axle, so therefore as soon as you put your foot on the floor, your back end squats down?
Squats down, yeah. So like with a front engine car, all the weight is over the front axle.
Yeah.
So when you're hard braking, it's already, but it's already going forwards, so the front end initially grips quite well.
Yeah.
Where with a rear engine car, you've got to sort of force it to do it because it doesn't do it naturally. Yeah. Where obviously it's different with the other way around. So.
What's your road car? What do you drive normally?
A Ford Ranger pickup truck.
Okay. Do you drive? You've just done a weekend of racing.
Yeah.
Will you get in your own car and drive straight home? Do you have to flick a switch in your brain to think, I'm not racing now, I'm on the normal road?
No, because like once you've finished a race, you're pretty tired.
Right.
You put your music on, and just chill out. Steady drive back. Phone a few people who you need to phone. Done. You're home.
So your Ford Ranger pickup, we got 250 brake tops if it's a 3.2.
Yeah,
as opposed
probably.
To 600, nearly 600 with your race car.
Yeah.
You must find a massive difference.
Oh, it's slow, but it's work truck at the end of the day, so does the job.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What's your like pre-race routine like? Do you listen to music? Do you like go on your own or?
Yeah, I like to listen to music. I just put like a quite probably not drum and bass, but quite upbeat and fast music, so gets you like pumped, so you're ready to go. People sometimes they sit there and focus on like close their eyes and envision them going around the track, but it doesn't work for me. I just need to listen to my music, walk to the car, get in and go. So
when does your planning and setup start for something like this weekend?
Normally, well, we start like at the start of the season, then going through the season. Every week we're always doing something like sim training. I've got a sim at home. I've also got base performance where we go for a day before every round. Go there, we do fitness every Thursday at Paddock HQ. So we're there for a 2-hour session.
Right.
So yeah, we're pretty much just keep it going.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Hopefully, I want to do Le Mans. 100%. That is one thing I do want to do, but I want to get into more of like the 8-hour, the 10-hour, the 24-hour WEC stuff in Europe and abroad.
More of the endurance racing.
Yeah, more of the
The
endurance.
short sprints.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Would you want to go hypercar, LMP2 or the GT side of it?
I don't know, these are all really good questions. I think I'd like to try the hypercars because I've not been in one, but at the minute I think it would be a GT car that I'd like to be in.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
21.
Okay. What's the quickest car you've ever driven?
Probably a single-seater that was 1000cc bike engine in the back of a space frame car, like just a single-seater with a fiberglass shell, and that was when I was 17, 18.
You say you started down in karting.
Yeah.
Is it like your team sport that you see all in big city centres and things?
Yeah,
like
it was. Well, I was at Full Throttle in Stourbridge.
Oh, right, okay.
That's where I started.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we went Wilton Mill, Landau, Shennington, Rissington.
Yeah.
Did all those sort of tracks.
Got it. Got it.
I have like a really random question. Like, when did you learn to drive? Because like obviously single-seater cars, they're literally like my age, because I'm 16, and they can like drive a race car.
Yeah. So I started to drive when I was about, well, I've been on motocross bikes and quads since I was about 3 or 4. Did a bit of motocross racing, like 2-hour racing on a little 50cc KTM when I was young, and then thought, nah, this isn't what I want to do. So got rid of the bike, got a go-kart, went and did go-kart instead. But I started driving when I was about 7 or 8 with actual cars. So my mum taught me how to drive Vauxhall Zafira. It was the first car I was in.
Did you pass your driving test first time?
Yeah, I did. The practical bit, yeah.
Yeah, right, okay.
The theory I had to go and do again.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Avoid the Tyrewall podcast, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for Tom for agreeing to do this interview.